Hello, I'm Dale Leftwich with RealAgriculture. I'm with Elaine Froese. She is an author and a farm family coach. How are you doing today, Elaine?
Really well. It's been an exciting conference here at AgX 2018.
That's right. We're at the AgX conference in Winnipeg, Manitoba. It's been a really enjoyable conference. And one of the things that's happened at this conference is that you won an award. You won the 2018 Wilson Laurie Award for having made an extraordinary contribution to advancing agricultural business management practices in Canada. That must make you feel pretty good.
It's been a journey, and it was fun last night to give my acceptance speech and receive the award from Wilson Laurie himself. He was a farm management specialist in Alberta for many years, and he had the inaugural award. And since that time has also given it to two colleagues of mine, Merle Good and Terry Becker, who I respect highly. And I was also given a chance to talk about my story and the things that have happened in my life that have turned me into a farm family coach, and hopefully help people understand that inheritance is something that you give to your children, but a legacy is something that you leave in them. And that's a quote that a young farmer sent me this week.
Yeah, that's a great quote, and it really puts things into perspective. You've been active in a lot of fields for a long time. You've been a journalist, but you are an author of 3 books, and 4 books, pardon me, very good. You've been an author of 4 books, and this award, though, was in recognition of those things as a kind of a legacy, but also in terms of work you've actually done with Farm Management Canada.
Right. So I have been in collaborative work with Farm Management Canada since the mid-90s. 1993, I was part of the National Farm Women's Training Committee, and that's when I also was introduced to what was then called the Canadian Farm Business Management Council, now known as Farm Management Canada. I've done agri-webinars for them. Cedric McLeod, who's a young agronomist consultant from New Brunswick, he and I have been privileged to go across Canada a couple of times to different workshops for young farmers and their families called Bridging the Gap. Farm Management Canada tweets and uses social media disbursement of my message, because the goal of Farm Business Management Canada is to give farmers tools to make more profit and be better farmers, better farm managers, and it's really honed in on that. So as a home economist by degree, I'm not a number cruncher, Dale. Right. I'm all about clarity of expectations, certainty of agreements, and getting commitment to action for farm transition. So that's really where my specialty is, and that's where my passion lies.
Well, there's been a special focus on this conference this year on making sure that that ideas aren't siloed and segregated. Now, one of the things that they've really worked on is mental health at this conference, and they want to bring it into every aspect of what they talk about. That's something that you have been doing since you first started being a farm family coach, and so it must be interesting for you to be at this conference and seeing that kind of integration.
Well, and it's so gratifying after 40 years of being a home economist in Boys Vein. When I first started with Manitoba Agriculture and was there for 6 years, I've been an entrepreneur with my own business, Seeds of Encouragement, for many years. And what's been interesting is I always felt like, doesn't anybody else understand that the emotional factors affecting planning need to be dealt with first? And we've had Kelly Dobson and Daryl Thiessen here with Leadership talking about their new program around having learning conversations and dealing with emotional intelligence kinds of things to be better leaders. And I want farm families to be well-led and self-led. I've been the coach on call in the hall here, so I've sat down with young farmers and older farmers who are really looking for ways to get clarity about how they can express that. And then this morning we listened to Gerald Friesen and Marcel Hocol and Janet Smith and Sylvia from Clinic, all talking about healthy farms and healthy minds too, right? And so it's all integrated, Dale. And what's exciting for me is that now the conversation has shifted with the Do More Ag Foundation and movement, and kudos and congratulations out to Kim Keller and Leslie Ray Kelly and Hanumanshu Singh and the people who developed Do More Ag. I'm also a sponsor of Do More Ag because I myself am a depression survivor, and I have worked all my life to destigmatize mental health and talking about what's the tough issues. So last night I had my Beanie Baby bowl with me. It goes with me everywhere. It's my talking stick. And you know, if the listeners to this interview can just understand that there's tons of resources out there, but you need to talk, you need to listen, and you need to act. And Farm Management Canada and Heather Watson and her team have put on this Ag Excellence Conference on an annual basis that tours all across Canada to help farm families know that there are lots of tools to help them do better. And one woman last night, and this will be interesting, she said, Elaine, this group saved my marriage. And I said, really, Jeanette? And she said, yes, because I finally got the tools. She was a banker, but she was not valued the same way at home as she would hope to be. And she's now on the board. And it's such an amazing story. And that's what you'll hear is all these stories of how people find a way to get better tools in place to make better decisions.
Well, it was certainly a very powerful panel this morning with people sharing their experiences, like how as they've traveled along this mental health path, and also were people who were able to point out how you can get connected to people who can provide more help today. So that was very good. I just want to ask you a little bit about your coaching here at the conference. Like, how did that come about, and what is it that you do?
So Coach on Call in the Hall was actually born in Saskatchewan when I was a speaker for Lacey Gerbrand Owens for the Connect Ag Conference. And she said, Elaine, I want you to come back and speak again this year, but we just had you last year. I said, that's okay, Lacey. I'll come back and just be the coach on call in the hall. And it just came out. Right. And so we've branded that as something that I offer to any event planners that I work with, that if I'm not speaking or if I am, it's just an added value benefit. And what happens is people get to know me as we speak and tweet throughout the conference, and they say, Elaine, can I come talk to you? Sure. And so I spend half an hour with them and just drill down, okay, what's the most important thing for us to talk about? And some of these people, now, Dale, I've been meeting with them for 3 or 4 years in a row, and they say, I'd like to give you an update. This is what's working. This is what's not. And to be clear, counseling is about recovery. Coaching is about discovery. So it's quite exciting to see families making good choices for discovering how their farms and families can do better.
That's really terrific. I just want to ask you something else, which you really connect to emotions in so much of what you do, to understand emotional intelligence, I guess. And so it was very interesting to hear you speaking about this, where this conference is happening at the Fort Garry Hotel, and just for you to speak a little bit about its importance to you. And so do you want to just speak a little bit towards that?
So 62 years ago, I was born in Winnipeg. I grew up on a farm at Dugald, daughter to Norman and Lois Eady, who were ag advocates in the Manitoba Beef Producers Women's Institute, Manitoba Farm Vacations. I graduated from Springfield Collegiate. My high school grad was here at the Hotel Fort Garry in the beautiful ballroom. And I sang I Am a Promise, I Am a Possibility as the valedictorian. 4 years later, in 1978, I was here again for my home economics graduation from the University of Manitoba. I was the valedictorian. I sang the song, I Am a Promise, I Am a Possibility. So last night, I decided to open up my expectant speech with, I am a promise, I am a possibility. And I think people were a little bit shocked, but the feedback I got is that they were very inspired because everybody has a story, Dale, and the Irish have a saying, every front door looks beautiful. And as a farm family coach, I've been given the honor and the privilege of going in that sacred space of sitting with families and keeping it safe and respectful so that they can talk about the tough issues.
Well, that's excellent. I just want to congratulate you once again on winning the 2018 Wilson Laurie Award, a very deserving recipient. Thank you for taking the time out of the conference to actually be with Real Agriculture today, and I hope you everything keeps going very well for you, Elaine.
And also thanks to my husband, Wes Froese, who eats a lot of peanut butter sandwiches when I'm away. And I said that last night, didn't I? Yes, I'm really very thankful that I have a husband who's got my back. So thank you for this interview.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot.